Mr. Revelle, go ahead.
Good morning, Chair Holmes, members of the Board of Supervisors. My name is Dennis Revelle. In the interest of time, I will be direct and to the point this morning. I rise in support of the written request that the Chair received yesterday from Supervisor Euler, to wit, that pursuant to Section 7.2 of the Placer County Board of Supervisors procedures approved by this board on June 18, 2013, quote, any member may put an item on the agenda without the approval of the chairman, but otherwise consistent with this rule, close quote. On April 12th of this year, I submitted a letter outlining the dangers as well as the hypocrisy of California Senate Bill 54 and its companion legislation, and requested a public hearing by this body. On April 24th, I received a written response from the chair in which he announced, quote, after giving this issue much thought, including discussion with County Counsel and the Placer County Sheriff's Office, I have determined that since this issue is being litigated, it will serve no purpose to hold a hearing in the Board of Supervisors chambers. This issue will ultimately be resolved by the courts, close quote. At the May 8th Board of Supervisors hearing, many people in the crowd were perplexed and concerned about what exactly is this board's policy for setting an agenda item. As I subsequently testified before this body on May 22nd, I knew that 2 board members had requested a hearing, yet no hearing had been agendized on this matter. Assuming that this board encourages the public to attend and be part of how it makes its decisions, and recognizing that the Board of Supervisors wishes to conduct its business in an orderly, calm, and productive and timely manner, I knew there had to be a policy or procedure for the board meeting agendas, as so many California Board of Supervisors have. However, it took a written public records request to obtain a copy of that, and realized that Supervisor Euler has correctly invoked this provision. There is a provision which should be honored by this body, and more specifically by the chair, to schedule the hearing that both Supervisors Euler and Wygant have requested, as well as many Placer County residents who have appeared before this body on multiple occasions over the last 3 months. I recognize that according to the same procedure document, the chair enjoys the discretion, hopefully in consultation with his fellow board members, to agendize Supervisor Euler's request for July 10 as he has requested, or the chair could properly exercise his discretion and schedule it for a special meeting or at an adjourned meeting of a regularly scheduled meeting so that this hearing could be held during evening hours, thereby according the largest number of Placer County residents the opportunity to be heard on this subject, irrespective of their position. Also, I would respectfully request that it be held at a facility that can accommodate more than this chamber can. For the above reasons, which while we would gladly have supported July 10, 2018 hearing, we would respectfully request that the chair exercise his discretion to schedule this in such a way that the meeting is held in early evening hours and at a facility that could accommodate something in the area of 500 to 800 people. Thank you.
And Mr. Chair, just for I'd like to clarify, I haven't actually done it formally, personally requested, but I'm certainly agreeable to hearing the item. But I haven't formally requested.
And I just want to clarify for the record that the board procedures are referenced by Mr. Revelle were adopted by the board in 1997 and amended once in 2006 to raise the consent item threshold from 250,000 to 400,000. In 2013, we revised the administrative code and made it part of the PA Placer Administrative Manual, and all of the sections of the code were brought before the board at that time. So there was no individual action on these board procedures in 2013.
So just then, to be clear, Council, what you're saying is that it has been this board's policy since 1997 that any supervisor may request the chairman put an item on the agenda?
I think the practice has been the way that it was handled in this case. The policy was not in conformance with the practice, is all I can say. And there are a number of other issues in the board procedures that are inconsistent with the practices, and I'd suggest that the board bring these board procedures back for to revisit in the near future so that we can clarify some of those other issues also.
Okay, but I believe Mr. Revelle's point was that in whatever year it was, 2013, 14, our board did adopt modifications to our procedures contained within is section 7.2, which clearly states that any board member may request that the chairman place an item on the agenda. So whether that was modified to make that change then, or it had been in the board's procedures since 1997, I think is largely irrelevant. The question is any board member able to request the chairman, according to our procedures as they exist today, is any board member able to request the chairman place an item on the agenda?
Well, the question is not really relevant at the present time because we have a full board here, and the board as a whole can decide what kind of item.
No, the question is relevant because I clearly requested this back in April, and the request has not been honored, which is what led to the letter that was sent out yesterday. So the question is relevant. Is a board member able to request an item be put on the agenda?
Yes, but the board member is not entitled to have staff prepare the agenda item.
I did not ask for staff to prepare an item. I simply asked that the item be agendized for discussion.
That was the relevance of me mentioning that the entire board is here right now, so
Okay.
the board can direct what kind of staff report it wants for the item.
And I am more than happy to prepare a report that would accompany the item myself.
So council, we can't take action on this now. We have to,
We can take action to put an item on the agenda. It doesn't have to be agendized to do that, so the board can take that action.
Or the
And there has
chairman
been
can,
a
or the
request.
chairman can simply place it on consistent with our policy.
Right, there has been a request under 7.2, so the board can proceed on that basis also and just allow that to stand. The board is under no obligation to decide to put it on, as Supervisor Euler has formally requested that under 7.2. And he has acknowledged that he'd be responsible for any staff report that accompanied that item.
and Supervisor Wygant, do you concur with Supervisor Euler's?
I'm certainly willing to have an item on the agenda.
Okay, all right. Any other comments from board members?
If that's what the protocol calls for, then.
Okay, and we'll schedule a. Sure.
Satisfied with the process working as the process is intended to work?
Okay. Sir?
Mike Murray, District 3. Just before I waste 3 minutes of everybody's time, can we get clarification? Is it going to be? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then I won't waste 3 minutes asking you guys to do your job and discuss it.
I just can't guarantee it'll be July the 10th. We have to go through county council and the.
We've come here for months, and we just want it discussed. Whether it's July 10th, whether it's later, we're good with that. I just don't want to waste 3 minutes of everybody's time going through the same, and I hope everybody else does as well. What I will say is SB 54 is dangerous. It's not about legal immigrants. It's not about illegal immigrants that are here working hard. It's about handcuffing our sheriff. And it's about stopping our law enforcement agencies from doing their job to protect the community. That's all I wanted to say, really. And I appreciate Supervisor Euler, Supervisor Wygant for pushing this through. Much appreciated.